Is your dog's food created to maximize your dog's quality of life or to extend the food's shelf life? It's time to make the switch to Sundays. Sundays was founded by a veterinarian and mom, Dr. Tori Waxman, who got tired of seeing so-called premium dog food full of fillers and synthetics. So she designed Sundays, air-dried real food made in a human-grade kitchen using the same ingredients and care you'd use to cook for yourself and your family. Every bite of Sundays is clean and made from real meat, fruits, and veggies, with no kibble. That means no weird ingredients you can't pronounce and no fillers. Because your dog deserves food made with care, not in the interest of cost-cutting. You just scoop and serve. No freezer, no thawing or prep, no mess. Just nutrient-rich, clean food that fuels their happiest, healthiest days. So you get more of them to share together. Go right now to sundaysfordogs.com/now30 and get 30% off your first 3 orders. Or you can use code NOW30 at checkout. That's 30% off your first order at sundaysfordogs.com/now30. Or use code NOW30 at checkout.
This is the Washington Times front page for Monday, January 26th, 2026. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm George Gerbo. A major winter storm swept across the mid-Atlantic, leaving Washington blanketed in snow and sleet, and much of the eastern United States enduring bitter cold and treacherous road conditions. Matt Delaney reports early morning snow transitioned into freezing rain in D.C. that persisted for most of the day as crews hustled to keep up with the storm. Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport canceled all of its flights on Sunday, while Baltimore Washington International Thurgood Marshall Airport in Maryland and Washington Dulles International Airport in Virginia also had mass cancellations. The storm, which stretched from Texas all the way into New England, kicks off a frigid stretch in most of the nation. Wind chills will be in the single digits and below zero for much of the snow-affected areas, while high temperatures are not expected to climb back above freezing before next week. The second fatal shooting of an American citizen in Minnesota by federal immigration officers has sparked a national uproar. Seth MacLachlan reports 37-year-old Alex Preddy, a nurse at the Minneapolis VA hospital with no criminal record and a license to carry the handgun that he had on him, was shot and killed Saturday. Video of the incident shows the gun was taken away from him by immigration officers before he was killed. Republicans and administration officials claim the shooting stemmed from Preddy's poor decision-making and what they describe as failed leadership in Minnesota. Congressional Democrats, insisting a different approach is needed, signaled they were preparing to block a bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security and Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Minnesota leaders said the state's investigative agency, much as it had been during the probe into the shooting death of Renee Good earlier this month, had been shut out of the DHS investigation even after obtaining a warrant. They questioned whether the Trump administration is trying to hide evidence and accuse federal officials of spreading lies about what happened. Air traffic controllers concerned about safety were denied a request to decrease the number of arriving flights at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport before a deadly mid-air crash last year. According to an internal FAA memo made public by the National Transportation Safety Board, Susan Ferricchio reports the air traffic controller sought a decrease in the number of hourly commercial aircraft arrivals from 36 to 32 per hour into the airport, which operates the nation's busiest runway and is frequently used by members of Congress. The controller cited several safety factors in their request, including an inability to get arriving aircraft to maintain the required 4-mile spacing, which made it difficult to manage traffic flow. The memo says a now-retired FAA official resisted forwarding the request up the chain of command. The air traffic controller said they never received a formal written answer to their request. A key Iranian military commander warns Iran's Revolutionary Guard is ready to fight if the U.S. attacks the Islamic regime. Von Kakane reports General Mohammad Pakpour said Iranians stand more ready than ever, finger on the trigger, to execute the orders and directives of the commander-in-chief, according to Iranian outlet Noor News. U.S. warships are headed toward Iran amid reports that Iranian security forces killed or executed at least 40,000 anti-regime protesters on January 8th and 9th, a death toll much higher than international observers had originally feared. Dozens of videos and witness accounts released over the past 2 weeks have shown security forces using automatic weapons, tear gas, and batons on crowds of protesters. And finally, President Trump has put the U.S. on an expansionist path not seen since the early 1800s. Jeff Murdoch reports the president is trying to increase national territory and influence with a view that the Western Hemisphere belongs to America. Critics, however, say the president's expansionist ideology has disrupted financial markets and alienated allies with little to show for the effort. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.